Here we go. We are on episode 3 of the Royal Ramble with Matt and Rory. And today we're not going to spin the dice. We are going to talk about Bigfoot and the story of Bugs calling into Coast to Coast AM about the Bigfoot he supposedly shot. So
For the 5 people that are going to watch this video, if you don't know who Art Bell is, Art Bell is like one of the most legendary
a legend.
night show aliens, Bigfoot, conspiracies. Think of like a guy in a smoky room with like 18 cigarettes in an ashtray talking to whoever at 1 a.m. about a
In a
UFO.
bunker in Nevada
Yeah, in
somewhere.
a bunker in Nevada, talking to Junebug, who got abducted 18 times. And
Yep.
it's just amazing.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's just listening to him, and he's got enough skepticism. And he's trying to draw out answers and whatever else. But it's just great stuff. And the call-ins he has, you never know what's going to be on the other end of the line.
that is a roll of the dice. But I will
yeah.
say, Rory, one of my favorite things about Art Bell, generally speaking, no matter how crazy as hell the story is when someone calls in, he's like invested. He's like,
Oh, he
really?
is.
Really? Wow. It's like he's ready for it.
The best one was the 23-year-old international assassin
Yeah.
that was on there.
That one stands out. The one we're about to listen to right now stands
Yeah.
out.
Oh yeah.
And my third favorite one is a guy called in about alien abductions, and he's like, Art, I've been abducted by aliens. And Art's like, wow. He's like, how many times? He's like, 23, 30. He's like, that many, huh? I was like, yes. Art's he's buckled in. He's ready.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's talk about it. Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
Welcome to Coast AM's YouTube channel. I'm George Norrie. Like, share, and subscribe. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and CoastToCoastAM.com. Become a Coast Insider.
I don't know when this originally aired. I'm guessing like 90s, 2000s.
I would say late 80s, probably.
I've got a map to the burial location of 2 creatures. We'll decide as the program wears on what it is these creatures are. I'm going to introduce 2 people to you right now. One is Robert W. Morgan. Robert, are you there?
Listening with both ears.
You are there. Okay. Let's see. The first thing you wanted me to do was to give out your phone number on the air.
Now I think Robert Morgan is like not a skeptic, but like
he's a researcher,
right?
So
okay,
he's a researcher.
Yeah. Right now, when you first wrote to me, you said I'm kind of undercover with a pal. So you've been nobody's found you for a while, Robert.
Yes, I'm living somewhere in Montana, and as you know, it's a pretty large state.
I know.
And I'm here on purpose, and it's carrying on some things. We've had some rather significant successes with those audio cassettes that I had mentioned to you at one time.
Right. It's got to be the 90s or 2000s.
I think stuff gets emailed to him in this, so it could be 90s.
Face-to-face
audio cassettes.
Meetings?
Yes.
Encounters?
Yes.
With Bigfoot?
Yes. And so what I'm trying here is since I found that I needed an area where I wasn't known and where people would not waste their time playing nonsense and starting from scratch. And at the same time, of course, I love Montana. I've been in and out of Montana for 20-some years, and it's absolutely fabulous.
How do you earn a living doing these things? Like the Bigfoot researcher dude.
For how long, Robert?
Well,
that's a great question because you got all these like, I say crazy people, but you got all these people that research whatever, the Jersey Devil, Bigfoot, whatever.
Did you write a book?
It must be a hobby, I guess.
But if you wrote books, though,
oh, true. But who are you gonna sell them to?
All right.
Other crazies.
I may have another chapter for you.
Good. I'm all ready.
All right, so you'll be doing a lot of listening, although you're welcome to ask a question as the story unfolds.
Thank you.
It was, I don't even know how long ago. Bugs, are you there?
Yes, I am, Art. Good morning.
Good morning, Bugs. Can you... oh, yeah, Bugs and a friend. That's your dog, huh?
I don't remember the dogs.
I don't either.
But it just adds to Bugs' background and character to have his dogs baying in the background.
So Bug sounds like he smokes a pack or two a day. He's in a trailer house
He's a
by the river.
non-vet, so I mean,
Yeah.
he may live in a trailer, could live in a van with his
But
dogs.
it just sets up like the background to this crazy ass story we're about to hear.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Bugs, you want to tell us what state you're in?
Yeah, I'm in Texas, Art.
Texas. All right. How long ago, Bugs, did you tell me originally the story of what you did?
Gosh, Art, it's been 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. Yeah, I thought it was quite a while. Time flies.
Yep,
all right.
I'm getting older every day.
Aren't we all? All right, Bugs, I've got a real expert here, as you can hear, Robert W. Morgan.
Real expert.
Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing fine. You?
I'm alive and meaner than cat dirt.
Well, I keep telling everybody I'm still breathing, so I guess we're all right.
All right, fine. Bugs, if you would begin at the beginning. And by the way, Bugs, before we even start, why did you send me this map?
Because, Art, my days are limited on this earth, and when I'm gone, my wife's going to call you and say, go for it.
Really?
And you can reveal to the world a map. I have not been back to that place since that day.
All right, let's start then with that day. Go ahead and tell it in as much detail as you want.
Here we go. This is the scoop.
Me and two of my friends, which I'll refer to as Bird Dog and Jim, were coyote bobcat hunters. Back in the middle 70s, those varmints was worth a lot of money.
How much could you get for one?
Well, no bobcat would bring you anywhere from $300 to $700 that pelt.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'm gonna look that up and see how much it was in the late 80s.
Like $40, $50 a piece. And then we'd go out, and to be honest with you, it was a little more than a hobby. We were real serious about it.
Right.
Poaching the shit out of those
things.
things.
Many nights.
100%.
Country.
Were you making your living that way then?
Yes, I was. I was farming at that time.
Can you pause it real quick?
Yeah. Marines and.
So if this happened in the 80s, 90s, kind of what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
This is probably when the story went down. $700 at that time in 1980 on the dot. So let's just say it's the oldest I think it would be, 80.
Okay.
That's the equivalent of about $2,600.
I don't know if he's really getting that much for a bobcat pelt.
I doubt it. I mean, I don't know if that's total or per pelt. I don't know. But that's $2,600, man. That's kind of iffy.
I don't want to get too far off the subject here, but
yeah.
I used to think bobcats were rare growing up. And so my high school mascot was the Bobcats, right?
Yeah.
The Bobcats. I never saw a bobcat in my until I was in the Army did I see a bobcat. And then at Fort Leonard Wood, I saw bobcats. I saw bobcats in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think where else. I've seen bobcats down here, but the one I saw in Wisconsin was huge, like ginormous. Like I hit by a car and was spinning down the highway, and then the guy got out. I'm like, "What are you doing? That thing's not dead. It's coming for you." I mean, I must have a gun, but the ones Fort Leonard Wood's covered them. So as many as there, I don't think it would be
that valuable.
That valuable.
That's a lot of money, man.
It is. Yeah,
and they don't mess around. So like if you're hunting those, like I've been on a trail with my pops, and one came out on the trail, and I mean people are big, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't care.
He was not back. He's like back off. He started growling and getting all mean, and I was like, dude, no.
Yeah, and so, but most people trap them. They don't shoot them. They trap them. So I don't know, but we'll keep going.
Okay.
And Bird Dog and Bugs here.
Nah.
Jimbo.
Came back home, and I was farming, and in that part of the year, there's cotton country up here, so we didn't have much to do in January and February except kind of sit around.
And drink.
Okay.
Yeah,
and,
literally.
We hunted a lot in that period of time because you had to wait until the freeze come for those pelts to cure. For some reason, and I don't know, maybe somebody explain it to me.
That checks out,
An
I
animal,
guess.
like a coon or coyote or whatever, if you kill them before it comes a hard freeze, when you skin them, their pelts are blue on the inside after they dry out. If you kill them after a hard freeze, they're white.
I thought you're supposed to salt the pelt too. I don't know.
I don't know what cured a pelt.
I've seen that multicoloring, but I had no idea the reason. I didn't make that correlation.
I know where I come from. You don't you don't hunt and eat rabbits until after the first freeze.
You don't want bugs.
Well, there's some
worms and
parasite they
Yeah.
have that kills off the rabbits that are sick, and so you don't eat rabbits till after. But I don't know about the color changing.
Same thing with squirrels, man. You gotta be careful with squirrels too, dude.
So
anyway, you know, it was like in December, January, and February that we hunted a tremendous amount. And then in late February to get into what they call a rutting season, and the animals would get mange and whatever, and they wasn't worth hunting. So about 2 months you had prime time hunting. And me and these two guys, we hunted a lot. We were all three from Vietnam veterans.
Okay,
and,
all three.
Very close friends. And we had one night we had gone. I don't know how to tell this to keep from giving the location away, but
whatever words you want doesn't matter.
If somebody knows what I'm talking about, they can find out. But anyway, we had hunted and we.
What does that mean?
Back in the flatland. So then we took this road back up north of where I'm at now, and it swung around. It runs through ranch country. It's probably 25, 30 miles. Nothing but ranch land.
That's a long ways.
This location is within, 100 miles of where you are now?
Oh, it's closer than that.
Closer than that, all right.
Just follow the beer cans and lead you right to it.
It's in his backyard.
Okay. So anyway, we came around and we came across this. We were going to cross this creek. It's more than a creek. Its name is Elm Creek.
You're giving it away now, dude. But anyway,
that creek.
Elm Creek.
North, coming down that
Texas
county road.
I'm looking it up.
Land and stuff. And these ranchers loved us because we get rid of the coyotes that were taking their calves. And this had to be probably 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I don't remember the exact time.
Okay, so keep that in mind.
The bend, and then in this bottom.
3, 4, or 5 in the morning. So he doesn't know what time it is. That's number one. But later on, they'll talk about everything that transpires afterwards before the sun comes up.
True.
So I think Art hits on that, but I could be wrong.
I'm there just before you cross Elm Creek.
So you're hunting with lights then?
Oh yeah, we're using spotlights.
Dude, pause it real quick.
Spotlights is illegal too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, spotlight hunting is 100% illegal. Yeah. I think in like any state that's super illegal because that's cheating, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you.
Unless you're hunting Bigfoot.
I'm gonna. Just close it. Hold on.
No rules there.
I'm gonna show you where Elm Creek is, and this may lead credence to what may or may not have been.
Is there like a commune next to it?
No, hold on. Okay. I got it right here. Hold on. I'm gonna zoom it in here. All right. So we're about to hear in this story what transpired at this time, okay? Here we go. See if I can get it to work. Hold on. Be patient. Let's see if I can get it to work. It might be too bright. If it is, I'll just explain.
Yeah, it's not. You're going to have to explain. It's too small for me to see it.
Okay. So Elm Creek is on the border of Texas and Mexico, near Eagle Pass, El Paso.
What? Oh.
That is where Elm Creek, Texas is.
That's not good.
No, that's not good.
Okay.
If that's the same place. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's listen to the story.
Using 500-watt halogen bulbs, it would light up anything from within a half a mile. You can see where you're standing, see the ground good.
And anything with eyes lights up real well.
Them eyes. The thing about it is, after you've hunted as much as we did, you could tell by looking at a set of eyes what they were.
Mm-hmm.
If they were a cow, they were wide apart and they were red. If they were a coyote, they were narrow and they were more blue-red. I mean, it just, after a period of time, Art, you knew what, you could look in that scope and you knew what was there.
I'm not a hunter, so I just take your word for it.
Well,
you know your target by the color of its eyes. That's it.
Way. I mean,
well, he said he got a bright light. You can see it, I guess.
There's a wheat field out in front of.
But he's not identifying his target based on what it is, but based on the eyes.
Yeah.
You look at that scope, you know what it is based on the eyes. Okay.
You know this alligator.
Before we crossed this creek, and it was a valley down in there, and there's probably, I'd say it's has wheat land right there. There's probably a quarter mile or so wide from that road to the creek, and it's probably about a mile long. It runs alongside that creek, and it's flat and has steps. And we come around this bend and up and over a little hill and dropped into this valley. Well, just as we dropped into this valley, our lights picked up a set of eyes. And I hit the brakes. I was driving, and Bird Dog, he come out on the side. He had a 300 Weatherby Magnum, and he come across the top. I said, "What you got?" And he says, "I don't know. It ain't something I ever seen before." Well, it just sat there. And so I put
when you said a set of eyes, did you mean 2 eyes or 4?
2 eyes.
2 eyes.
2 eyes.
What color were they, Bugs, if you don't mind?
They were furious red. The reddest eyes I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Under those lights. It was something we knew it wasn't a deer because of the eyes, and it was something. And so I pulled my rifle out. I used a 243. I put my scope on it, and I could see whatever it was crouching. And so Bird Dog, he got out and leaned over the hood of the pickup where he could get him a good shot. And Jim, he come up over the top of the cab, and I don't even remember what kind of, I think he was using a 270. I don't remember for sure. But he lined up over the cab, and I was sitting there, and we just had both these spotlights on this varmint there. And I said, "I don't know what it is," and they don't either. And I said, "Well, it sure ain't nothing we know about it. Let's take it." And all 3 of us fired at the same time. And all of a
Pause
sudden,
it real
this
quick.
thing got up.
Pause it. Pause it.
I don't know what it was. We decided to kill it.
That's the most concerning part of this whole thing,
We
right?
couldn't identify it, so we shot it.
Something is crouching. We don't know what it is. 3 of us pull out our rifles and start blasting.
Yes.
Not good.
So
not a good plan. Just saying.
But to their defense, human eyes do not reflect light like that.
I don't know. I don't know how that works because I know, like,
don't.
if you take a Polaroid, I mean, the exposure makes your
Old
eyes red.
flashbulb cameras, they would, camera flashes. But like, if you shine a flashlight, if you're standing out there, your eyes don't reflect that way. Human eyes don't.
Okay.
You can look that up real quick, but they don't. I don't know why. It's got something to do with the way other animals' eyes are built or something. So
maybe that's why they were thinking.
But I don't even know if they knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it ever crossed their mind that it might have been a human.
Well, to be fair, I'm just going to take a wild gamble, and this is not like disparaging anything. What is the most common thing hunters do on private property at 2 a.m. in the morning while they're hunting? They're probably lit up.
Oh yeah, they're drunk or high. Yeah,
they're probably lit up.
They stumbled out of the cab of the truck, and the beer cans fell out. And they're hoping it wouldn't scare off the animals. Yeah, I would say they've got a few in them, especially if it's after midnight, whatever else, after cruising around
in the late 80s before you couldn't drink.
Loaded rifles. You know what I mean? When I was in basic training in the late 90s, the Alabama National Guard would pull into the DFAC to pick up their food and their weekends. They were doing stuff, and the beer cans spilling out of that Humvee would blow your mind. So these guys, I'm sure, were doing the same exact shit.
The Bama boys. Bama boys were not messing around.
So here we go.
It must have been 7-8 foot tall at least. I don't know. Scared the heck out of us. Started running, and well, we all loaded, and we fired again. We knocked it down again, and then it run. I guess it was probably 100, maybe 150 yards from the point we fired the first time till it hit the fence and went into that creek. And we knocked it down.
The Rio Grande?
30 yards from the fence.
It fell into a creek.
No, not at this point. And just as it was crossing the creek, we hit it again.
So you shot it, at least 3 different times.
4 legs or 2?
It was running on 2 legs, just like a human being. And I mean, it was,
right. So it was running on 2 legs. It's something you've never seen before, but you 3 guys cut down on it.
Well,
right.
We done shot, and we did not know what it was. It was.
Then why are you shooting it?
It wasn't.
The experts asking the good questions.
Yes. You didn't know what it was. Yeah. So you shot it down. You just cut it up. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Scared us. Just started blasting.
Yeah. And that 300 Weatherby, that's not a It's like a big game rifle, is it not?
Dude, he said what
the 243 is not.
243.
That's a very common Midwestern deer.
My
rifle.
pops has got 243. That's got some juice in it, though. I mean,
yeah.
You hit something, you're gonna hit it. You know?
You can shoot deer with that. I know people hunt coyotes with them and things like that. So I think the 243, but the 300.
That's a big gun. Daddy. That's a big daddy gun.
So I don't know what he's doing here.
I mean, it's arms as much as it was. It wasn't standing up straight. We still thought it was what I thought it was at first. To be honest with you, was a bear. Yeah, and that's why we fired.
All right, so you had 3 of you fired initially, right?
And
so
we all fired 3 times.
So
bears aren't gonna take off on 2 legs,
right?
No.
And so you've had night combat, I'm sure.
Right.
Okay, so you have something getting up on 2 legs and running away, and you still cut down on it. Okay, I have the picture. Go ahead, please. Okay.
So you're having the flashback. Did you hear the helicopters coming over as well? Did you see the napalm hitting the trees?
They're in the trees.
Yeah. You're yelling Claymore, Claymore, Claymore while I was running away.
No, what I appreciate about the expert, as crazy as I think he probably is, right? He's asking the right questions. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just like
you just started shooting at it. Like, are you serious?
He's dumbstruck as well. He's like, hold on, you got 3 non-vets rolling around in Texas at 3 or 4 in the morning shooting things that move in the woods. Yeah.
That they didn't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
It was coming right for us.
What's that mean? You watch a lot of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Remember what's his name?
So I pull out my guns. I just started shooting.
Yeah, I just started blasting. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's, I mean, okay.
Like I said, I originally thought it was a bear. I had no idea. We had done fired on it at the point in time that it was sitting out there.
I don't even know if bears are in Texas.
And
I don't know either.
Once we fired, I don't know. I guess we just got a little bit gung ho and kept shooting.
Yeah, it's called liquid courage.
The second time we shot it, went over the fence. Well, we went and
Hold on, pause real quick. I don't mean to keep interrupting.
Good.
I want to show you where bears are in Texas, and it leads credence to that original search I had.
Okay, down along the Rio Grande in southeast Texas or southwest Texas.
It's literally all the Rio Grande area. Yikes!
So it could have been a bear.
It could have been a bear. They are protected and endangered, though.
Well, I mean, okay. Do you think this guy cares what is protected, endangered, what he needs a license for, or whatever else? I mean, this guy.
I'm telling you, Texas and Florida we're cousins, man. Some of us just wear extra cowboy hats.
I mean, why wasn't this guy out just gotten gators instead?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Texas people and Florida people, we are cousins. We are the same. They just have little extra. We got Cuban food and like delicious, like Hispanic American foods, different flavor down south.
This guy's eating Bigfoot.
We got the Florida skunk ape and alligators. They got Bigfoot.
That's Sasquatch meat right there.
Fair trade, you know.
At this point in time, we were all getting scared because we thought, well, maybe this wasn't an animal.
See?
So, like I say, it was probably 3, 4, 5 in the morning. So we decided to drive around a while. About 5:36, we went back over there. We drove up there and we went down. And we seen blood. So we've seen some tracks. Looked like a human foot. And to be honest with you, I thought, now we done shot a human.
Right?
I think you did.
Yeah.
So we go on up and start following these tracks. And the creek runs from this point probably 50, 75 yards east, and then it turns back south some.
Notice he didn't say the feet were abnormal.
No.
They went straight on.
He didn't say they're like huge human
That's what I'm saying. I just caught that.
Feet. Yeah.
He said it looked like human feet. Yeah. He didn't say they were like big, huge feet. They were human-like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some hippie in the woods.
God dang.
From where the creek turned back south. About another 25, 30 yards, there was a plum thicket. And we were walking there, and we heard something in that plum thicket. I mean, it was a growl type sound. And we kind of looked at each other, and so we decided, well, who goes in and see what it was?
So we started blasting.
Yeah, and again,
a growl sound. Ouch! He shot me.
We done found a bear up here. So I got elected. I had a 44 Magnum pistol. I climbed into the plum thicket, and I got in, probably 20 feet at the most. And Art, this thing come up at me. I mean, it couldn't have been over, I'd say 6 or 7 feet from me. I didn't even see it until it was there. And it raised up and let out a sound that is very similar to the one you have on your tape.
Oh, now we're going to play sounds, I think.
You're talking about, as he grabs for it, this one, I presume.
Ouch! you shot me. Ow.
Anything like that?
Yeah, just the first one, not a repeat. Just
that first scream is said to be an authentic Bigfoot sound, Robert.
Yeah, that's what they say. I have never heard them scream like that. I've heard them howl. I've heard them.
Well,
hoot,
have you
and
shot
I've heard
one,
them
Robert?
talk.
You've never heard a scream like that?
No. Oh, well, first of all, I've never challenged them, so they don't perceive me as a threat of any sort, so they wouldn't try to.
Understood.
Try to do that.
All right. So anyway, Bugs, it sounded something like that.
Challenge them.
Similar to just the first part. It didn't go on and on. It's just one shrill.
Right.
And I'm basically on my all fours in a crawl position, and I just brought my 44 up, and I started popping shells.
Started blasting.
The first one I hit, the first one hit it. I just aiming right at the chest.
Describe what this thing, since you were seeing it now full on, what did it look like?
A dirty hippie.
Best you can.
At that point,
he had a peace necklace on.
Probably, but it was not standing up.
Smelled like patchouli.
It was more in a hunched squat type position.
All right.
I mean, it come up
kind of like a hippie shitting in the woods.
yeah.
Would you describe this as human looking, as ape looking? Did it have hair covering it? What can you tell us about it?
It had brownish red hair. It had hair on the face, completely covering the face. Its whole body was covered with hair. At that point, I just fired. It dropped down, started back up. I fired again, and it then kind of rocked and went backwards, and it come back up, and I fired again. I hit it 3 times. 225 grain, 44 Magnum hollow point, to probably 6 to 8 feet, and it was down. Well, the other guys were standing guard up on top watching, and they couldn't see nothing. They heard me firing, and they yelled if I was all right, and I said, yeah, I got it. Well, they came crawling in there and where I was at, and they seen it, so we decided we'd drag it out. We got to looking, and all this thing had was 3 holes. And this was a female. You could tell it had breasts similar to a woman. It had a sexual organ and similar to a woman.
Really?
Facial features were different than a human being. Like I say, it was covered completely in hair. So we went back in and we found the male probably, I'd say, 8-10 foot behind where she was at. He was dead.
He was dead.
Yeah. So we drug him out.
They killed
we laid
2.
Him out side by side. Yeah. The male was probably 6 to 8 inches taller than a female.
2 hippies they killed.
Estimating the male to probably be 8 foot plus, female 7 plus. So we looked at him.
So a couple of things. Okay. This dude had to crawl into the plum thickets on his hands and knees to go and smoke this female Bigfoot. Right. That at 4:00 in the morning in the plum thicket, he could see clearly enough that it was covered in hair or whatever else.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't buy that part.
No.
Even like full moon in the plum thicket, you'll be able to see shit. So, okay, got that part. Now, how did Bugs, Bird Dog, and Jimmy drag these things out of the plum thicket that easily?
That's a good question. I didn't think about that.
I mean, because think about like even like dragging a deer out of there.
That
If you don't
sucks.
have like a drag sled or whatever else, it's gonna be some
Or a
work.
freaking machete, man. You know.
And now
I
you're
know.
talking about something that's 8 feet tall, so figure it probably weighs close to 300 pounds.
Yeah.
These three drunk jamokes out there trying to drag this out of the woods
with their guns on their back.
Oh yeah,
I've carried litters with patients, right? Like pretty far, man.
but that's a
In the middle,
litter, and that's designed to be balanced and
right?
have the yeah,
With 4 people carrying a
yes,
litter
and it still
in the
sucks.
middle of some heavy brush, and that sucked. Like it
Yeah,
was a nightmare. So
yes,
you telling me you carried it through like spiky stuff?
yeah.
I don't know.
Some briars and wait a minute vines and stuff. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm. Questionable.
Yeah.
Questionable. Now he did say something that kind of stood out. He said it was covered with hair, head to toe, right? So my in my joking mind, what if 2 orangutans had escaped the zoo, right?
Well, there's a bunch of monkeys that got loose in South Carolina.
It happens. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
I mean,
even though I know dudes who are some hairy bastards.
yeah, true.
That
Facts.
I mean, if they were running around the woods after being out there living in the woods for 3 or 4 weeks in some hippie commune, would probably look like Sasquatch.
True.
So I mean, I'm just saying that it's. I don't know. I wouldn't go drinking, shooting things in the dark that you don't know what they are. That's a bad. And then call Art Bell and be like, okay, we'll get into more. Here we go.
Art Bell, I've sent you a map where the location of the bodies
Yes.
are. What?
They got me
Yes.
because
What
like
the hell?
in male, he had sexual organs like a human.
I know because I
Look at
tested
their
them.
teeth. They were not
Yeah.
human type teeth. I can't say that they
Wait.
were ape.
Human like what?
They had human sex organs.
I caught that, but then he said they had human like something.
They did not have human like teeth
Oh, interesting. Okay.
because he's a dentist as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
That they were human. They looked. They had the features of a human overall, but the details were not.
I want to cover this. I'm getting a lot of judgmental stuff, saying stuff like, "You killed it after you knew it was a bear or thought it was a bear," or did it ever occur to him that maybe he shouldn't shoot it, or at least he had to run the other way?
Right.
Or my God, out shooting animals. You know, a lot of judgmental stuff. But if I were to be judgmental, we wouldn't get the story. What I really want is the truth here. So I'm not going to sit in judgment of bugs. There are a lot of people responding that way, bugs, as you might imagine. But I'm not interested so much in that as I am the truth. I want the truth, and if the truth is what you were doing, then that's what you were doing. And so I just want the truth, and you are telling us the truth, right?
Art knows this is radio gold.
Oh yeah.
You map otherwise.
We're listening to it 30 years
No,
later.
I believed you the first time, and I believe you now. There are a lot of people who don't like it, but this is a very important story in view of the probable physical evidence that still exists.
Well, you got to remember something. At that point in time, we were making our living basically hunting.
Poaching.
There was many a night that I went out and I made $1,000 in a night.
Really?
I mean, there was one night, my biggest night ever. We killed 3 bobcats, 7 coyotes, and 18 coons, and we had $2,400 the next day.
I've got you. So again, I'm not judging you here. Somebody else would like to know. They've got a 5-year-old listening, and they want to know really what these creatures look like.
That's like
now, you said
$10,000
not exactly
almost.
human, not exactly
Today's
total
money.
animal.
Yeah.
Like something in between. Is there any way you can describe the facial features of these creatures? It should be imprinted on your memory.
Yeah, Art. No, because I've never seen nothing on this earth that looks like them. Their heads, they have a nose similar to a human.
Okay.
Their mouths appear to be more ape. Their eyes are sunken back in their head more than human. I mean, I think if you take a human and cross it with a ape, you could probably come up with a reasonable facsimile of it.
You know what I might suggest?
It's a big word.
Art, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Bugs, after we go off the air, if you would give Art your mailing address, which
Art has my mailing address,
I have it.
he has my phone number, he has everything.
Okay, what I'd like to do is
Robert, let me just interrupt. I've promised him anonymity, and we'll explain why here shortly.
Because he murdered two people.
He killed somebody.
What I do is send a copy to you, Art, and have you forward it to Bugs. The idea is this: on the cover of that is one of the best artist renderings I've ever seen because I sat with the artist myself.
On the cover of what?
On the cover of the cassette set that I have.
Of a cassette? Oh, of your cassette. All right.
Right, and that way, what I'd like to do is get a reaction from Bugs and he can tell that to you. That's number one. Number two, can I ask you something, Bugs? What kind of soil were these two buried in? Was it sandy? Was it dirt?
This part of the country is sandy loam, and it was it wasn't silk sand, but it was a sandy loam in that particular place where we buried them. It was more of a gravel type.
I wonder why the sand was questioning.
He gets into
it did have some rock in it because that creek was probably.
I think it's got to do with the decomposition.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Kind of went south, about probably 150, 200 yards, and then it turned back east. And over the period of time when we had a lot of high rains in this part of the country, it would wash silt and such in there.
Are you saying that the creek would overflow into this specific area?
Yes.
Oh boy, because that'll cause a different type of decomposition. Did you take a GPS reading?
A what?
Probably not, Robert.
What?
I would say not. A GPS.
Oh, no, I don't have one of them animals.
Yeah.
Okay, if we supplied one, would you take the readings and send those to Art?
Well, he's given me an extremely specific map.
Oh, okay.
Very, very specific.
I mean, that map is detailed down to the foot.
You would know where to dig. Listen,
to be honest with you, this happened 30-plus years ago, and I have not been out there since.
Bugs.
So if it was the 70s, you're talking 90s.
When you had these things lying on the ground, what did you guys talk about, and why did you decide to bury them?
We thought they could be human, Art.
Right.
And we didn't want to go to jail.
The other guy is going to say something good here in a minute.
Yeah, I understand. In other words, there were enough
when you're
human.
sitting there and you're looking at the sexual organs of two animals that's got identical to human beings, what do you think?
Dude, you're in the backwoods of Texas. I know what you were thinking.
Well,
still warm. Let's give it a run.
Well.
Bird dog. But anyway,
Robert, with what you know about Bigfoot, do they have sexual organs? The reports you get, do they have sexual organs similar to humans?
Oh yes,
They do.
So far, everything that Bugs has mentioned is something that I've observed myself. So,
checks out.
Oh,
he's right on the nose.
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that fact.
Have you ever seen Bugs any of the Bigfoot photos, like the Patterson film? Any of those that exist?
Not, Art.
You haven't.
No.
Would somebody please send me a good Bigfoot photograph right away?
I'm on the computer. I can't.
Yeah, computer. This might be 2000.
All right. Well, send it to my webmaster. Webmaster@artbell.com.
01,
If somebody would
02.
send a good Bigfoot photograph to webmaster.
I think the Patterson film is that classic image.
It's too bad our website isn't up because we have all of them on there.
Oh, you do?
Yes, and unfortunately it's under reconstruction right at the moment.
Okay, well, somebody will send us a photograph. Depend on that. In the next 15 minutes or so, we'll try and get it up for the next hour.
Oh, you know, the Art Bell Coast to Coast Network is like searching Bigfoot data entries.
All right.
Burning through Code Red Mountain Dew or whatever else.
Cheetos and Mountain Dew.
Is the Red River. This Elm Creek is a branch off of the Red River of the state of Texas.
Okay. That's the only sound. Actually, you heard that scream sound, but other than that, you heard a growling. What you would describe as
Art, I don't know whether it was a growling or a rustling or something, but something got our attention in those bushes.
Now, when they moved, you said they moved on 2 feet or seemed to walk on 2 feet, hunched over or straight up?
He was hunched over. To be honest with you, when it was running, it looked like a bear. When it was running away from us, it looked like a bear, and I'm thinking dollar signs. That's why I fired.
He was probably pretty badly injured by
I'm
your
off.
first
Pause it real quick.
fuselage.
I'm off the money. If it's off the Red River, that is not near Mexico.
Okay.
Opposite. You're talking about Amarillo, kind of near Oklahoma, skirting across through Arkansas all the way down to Louisiana.
Okay. So now we're like northeastern Texas.
Yep, northeast border. Think of like that where it has that big hump on Texas and it kind of curves down.
Yeah.
Same kind of pipeline right there. So not south.
So it wasn't. So it was a dirty hippie. It wasn't Mexicans.
Well, if it's near Oklahoma and Arkansas and Louisiana, it could be a bear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not what he's telling us, but it, a bear would check out.
I still think it's a couple of hippies, but
I think it's probably a person.
And what he was doing, I think, is number one, escaping. Number two, he was going to the protection, hopefully, of his mate. And the mate may have picked him up and carried him to where you caught him.
I don't know that happened. It's possible because there was grass where he came out of that creek and headed east there.
Maurice in Modesto, California asks, if you were hunting for money, why didn't you all decide to bring these creatures back for a hell of a
big
profit?
Money. Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, and maybe go to jail for the rest of your life, too.
Yeah, I think the fellow in Modesto is overlooking the fact that if these are humanoids, then under the American Constitution, they have civil rights, and Bugs is indeed correct to be charged with manslaughter at least.
You know what? By the time...
So hold on. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. If they were humanoids, they have human rights. What other humanoids are there that this has been tested upon that says they have human rights?
Rory, you're talking to kooks, though. You're talking to people that, number one, they believe Sasquatch is real.
Okay. I want to believe in Sasquatch, but
yeah.
Here's my thing. If he is the only dude on the planet who has ever gone out and shot a Sasquatch, let alone two of them in one night,
he would be king of the land. He'd be like
king
Prince.
of the kooks, at least. Yeah. Yes. National Enquirer would love this dude, right?
Bat Boy gone.
He'd be
Bigfoot shot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Top page picture of like Bigfoot strung up like alligator with his leg. You know what I mean?
Yes, with his girlfriend. Bigfoot and his girlfriend are shot. Yeah. But I mean, this whole, if they're a humanoid, they'd have civil rights. What?
Under the Constitution, under subparagraph
Please,
C.
let me know where Jefferson penned in about Bigfoot having civil rights. I would
all
love to
people,
see that.
all American people, including
humanoids,
including cryptids and humanoids,
including the Mothman, the Jersey Devil,
right?
the skunk ape. Yeah, come on.
God, how far down the rabbit hole are you to think that stuff, though? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
You are deep, buddy.
I'm thinking that this Robert dude or whatever, the expert, probably doesn't have a lot of friends, lives in like a one-room shack, and just goes out there and tries to talk to Bigfoot.
Has his laptop, has like Bigfoot, like a call or something. He's howling.
Oh yeah.
He's howling at night,
He's got their language broken down and some stuff. He's out there doing weird.
He understands like the tapping on the trees with like branches, all that.
He's out there leaving them, honey buns and like acorns and stuff as gifts and things.
When we finished the original show, Bugs was actually going to invite me out there, and we were going to dig these bodies up.
Good.
This was years ago.
I said I'd show you, Art. I ain't digging them up. Let me tell you something. I own a farm near this place.
Yes, sir.
And Art, I won't go out there at night because about a year or so ago, I was out there late one evening with my dogs. They love to go out and swim in the creek. And I heard that sound, and Art, I know they still want out there. And to be honest with you, I think they're looking for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bugs, we could do something. This is just a proposition here. If you would show Art where it is, and if I could be somehow involved, I would take the heat for you, I think I could get you off the hook on that.
I'm not sure you could take the heat. In fact, Larry in Anchorage asked,
he said you're going to be prosecuted by the Constitution, and then I'll get you off the hook.
Yeah, well, this guy's already got a backhoe. He's already
he's hyped. He realizes he missed his chance to dig up a Bigfoot, and he's like, I'll help you. That's all right.
I want to hear what this caller had to say. Hold
on. This is just a proposition here.
Hold
if
on.
you would show Art where it is, and if I could be somehow involved, I would take the heat for you. I think I could get you off the hook on that.
I'm not sure you could take the heat. In fact, Larry in Anchorage asks, is it even feasible to believe these bodies are still there?
It's pretty rough in that kind of sandy loam, because if you have a lot of water running through there, they're going to decompose rather rapidly, and this would also the escaping gases would call in coyotes, and those
probably.
No, we buried them. Probably they had to be at least 4 or 5 foot deep, Robert.
Oh, really?
6 foot under.
Hey, and let me tell you something. Like our training, we were all Vietnam vets. We know how to cover our tracks. To be honest with you, when we walked away from there, you couldn't tell there was a hole dug there.
So once we murdered these people and buried them, nobody knew we were there.
Nobody would know. There's like beer cans, like shell casings and cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarette butts and everything else. Yeah,
skull cans. Hell yeah!
It's too bad you didn't have a couple of body bags, huh? That would have helped. Because the idea is, since Art, you know my feeling about hunting and using guns on Bigfoot. However, if the deed is done, there's nothing we can do, but we wouldn't want them to die in vain. And if they can prove, Bugs, listen to me, please. If we can prove that they exist by virtue of 2 skeletons, then in effect, you are protecting the rest of them, because I'm very confident they're going to come out as humanoid. So an act on your part at this point in time would indeed help protect the rest of them.
Bugs, what about your 2 friends? What has their attitude
been? Bird Dog and Jimbo.
You know something, we haven't talked in probably, I guess, 10 or 15 years.
30 years ago.
They both moved away from here.
Hell yeah.
They both had
they murdered some people.
Yeah.
I moved too.
One of them's in the Philippines, the other one's in North Korea.
I mean, it wasn't that it bothered us that we killed humans, because we had done that before. You know, I mean,
Jesus
to take out a person, that was no big deal to us.
But that was in war, and they were armed. Right.
That's
a totally different thing.
Totally different situation what we were in there today. At that time.
Yeah, you were doing your duty, pal.
I know, I understand that, but then when we got into this situation, I would have not have shot the female once I saw her, except I feared for my own life.
Sure. Oh, you had right to there.
Bugs,
it's coming right at us.
Bugs, what about smell?
Good question.
Did you smell anything? Did these creatures smell?
All right, I can't remember. I really can't remember that.
Well, if it had been really distinct, I'm sure you would have.
Yeah, it would probably have. I tried to block a lot of this out of my memory. And
if you smelled something bad, you'd remember, like a skunk.
Oh yeah, smell and memory are distinctly tied.
And I realized that there might be consequences.
Or like blood.
And
you know what I mean?
The only reason I sent you this map and everything is because for 3 years I have never had one phone call. You knew who I was, you knew where I was, you knew my phone number and everything. Yet nobody ever got it. So I trust you.
It is legal to hunt and kill Bigfoot in Texas.
Really?
Yeah. Washington State, it is not.
Is it protected in Washington State? The eco gang protected Bigfoot?
I guess. Yeah.
If Bigfoot exists, I agree with Washington State. We got to keep them alive.
It's okay to trap one in Oregon, but you need a special cage.
What?
And there's no cage on the market big enough right now.
You gotta have a special government-approved cage to capture Bigfoot.
In 1974, a trap was constructed by the North American Wildlife Research Team, which no longer exists. It was a 10 by 10 wooden trap built on the Collins Mountain Trail.
Did they catch anything in it?
No.
Oh, like a traveler gets stuck in there. So you can kill Bigfoot in Texas. You cannot in Washington State, but you could trap them in Oregon.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Texas is just Florida, just a different flavor. It's just a different flavor, man.
Oh yeah.
No rules.
No.
And you can trust me, although I'm not sure I'm happy I have the map. If you dug the hole 4 to 5 feet deep, shot them at 4 in the morning, drove around, shot more, they would have been digging and burying in the daylight, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
This was the sun come up probably, I'd say, around 6 o'clock, 6:30. It was daylight. The sun wasn't up, but it was daylight enough for us to see. And when we found them, we're probably talking about the sun was just ready to peek over the top of the hill. We're talking probably 6:30, 6:45, maybe 7 o'clock. And after we found them and drug them out and everything, we're talking probably 8 o'clock. And it don't take very long to dig when you're scared. And probably within an hour, we had dug the hole and put them back in it, and we'd left.
Did you bury them in one hole or separate holes?
One
hole.
on top of each other.
An hour to dig a 5-foot hole?
And apparently they roll
after
around with
this
3
was
shovels in
over,
their truck.
Right.
And they were buried. Did the 3 of you talk?
Yeah.
And what'd you
We
talk?
swore ourselves to secrecy, Art.
Except for you rat. Spilling all the beans.
He said a
Freaking
damn
rat.
map to a radio
That's,
host.
that's Rizzo the
Years
rat,
later,
ratting
years
everybody
later, you were
out.
on the radio with me, and you told this story.
Well,
and now you're telling it
when
again.
you get to be old, I guess you start thinking about some things you did in your life that
Like murdering hippies.
like shooting people.
That you weren't that happy about, huh?
No, that was one of the few things that I did in my life that I'm still scared about today, Art.
You feel guilty about it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no statute of limitations on murder in Texas.
I don't know. I might have taken an innocent human being's life.
Human being.
You know, maybe for a hunter, it's not the same way, Bugs. But when you look into a human's eye, you can see an intelligence. I mean, you know, you're dealing with
I agree with that.
Intelligent creature, and I don't know if you had enough eye
for most
contact
people.
before, or it all happened too fast in all probability. But I wonder if you had a chance to look into their eyes and whether you discerned anything from that, whether you were dealing with an intelligence or something that was about to kill you.
No, Art. To be honest with you, it was just a quick knee-jerk reaction, and it was fire because I knew that I was in danger, and I knew she was fixing to come after me.
It's coming right for me.
It was a matter of a
millisecond.
I either had to fire or I was gone, and I didn't hesitate.
Yeah, obviously, with the other one dead, I would think that that creature would have killed you pretty quick, if it could have.
Yes, it would.
Oh, Art, it could have. Believe you me.
You're the expert. Yes, it would.
I'm 6'1".
There's a lot of people, Bugs. There's a lot of people that think that Bigfoot is some sort of paranormal creature, but it sounds to me like the creatures were real dead. You know, like animals and mammals and humans who get shot are dead. Nothing paranormal about that.
No,
this
was an animal.
They never disappeared on you.
Nope.
Or nothing ever strained.
Nope.
What about blood?
Red blood, just like ours.
A lot of it.
Quite a bit.
You shot 18 times.
Especially hers.
Yeah.
I mean, his. He had a big pool where he was hit, and near the heart area, I would assume. I imagine the pool of blood. I'm trying to remember now, but I would say it was probably where he was laying, and he bled probably 1.5 foot circle diameter.
Jeez.
So everybody swore everybody else to secrecy.
You're a rat.
Yeah, rat.
On this matter.
There's some stuff you take to the grave, Rory.
Apparently.
Robert, if it happened that long ago, and assuming that the remains have not been washed away, what might we expect to find, if anything?
Well, you could find probably quite a bit of the skeleton. You could, most importantly for us, I think it would be finding the teeth, because within the teeth, no matter even after many years, you can find viable DNA.
DNA.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Right,
well,
I've heard that they found
like
hair
CSI
recently.
Yeah.
And they do a DNA test on it, and it comes back as hominoid of some sort, unidentifiable. So what do we get from that? In other words, if you have a hair sample and they say, well, yes, it was some sort of mammal or hominid in some way, but it's not identifiable, and that's the end of the story.
Right. That happened to us. We had that in 1974, and we had that also in 1972. Hair tells you quite a bit about the DNA, but it still will not convince science. Now, if we can get a complete skeleton, especially if we have two, male and female, if there's sufficient bones there, they can be reconstructed, and they can provide the proof that the Bigfoot A does exist. B, well, whether or not they are humanoid or whether they're pongidae, or whether otherwise if they're human or ape.
Robert, do you believe bugs?
Everything that I have heard bugs say has what I would call the ring of truth.
I want to ask him a few more questions with Robert before we lose him. I know you had a really.
He says sounds all right.
Oh yeah. I've got a couple of questions I need to ask Robert.
All right.
Robert, can these creatures know who I am and what I did?
Yes.
Yeah. The reason why I say that is because, like I said, it's been 6 months. It was last summer. I was at my farm late one evening, and it just got dark. And I have a creek that runs into this creek that I'm talking about. And I heard it was not a coat type howl.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made the hair on my back of my neck stand up, and I just felt in my heart that this had to be one of these creatures.
Was it the same kind of howl, or roughly the same?
As what?
As what you heard originally?
No. This was not similar to what you have on tape.
No. To what you heard originally.
When you shot that one lady.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't place.
How many statute miles are you from the site?
Well, that creek's approximately 6 miles.
About 6 miles away.
Yeah.
And okay, now this is going to sound like a strange question. Does the water flow upstream or downstream from where you are?
Downstream.
Downstream.
It flows down into this place.
And had you hunted that area before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the identification, they could have identified you, and believe me, 6 miles is a Sunday stroll for these people. So more than likely, they have identified you. Yes, you're probably right. I would be
danger?
very careful.
Am I in any danger?
It's been how many years?
This is 1976.
Right.
76.
It's possible, but probably I would say that, I'm going to sound very, very weird here for a second. If you would go out on the edge of that and hold your hands open to your side, where they can see you have no weapon whatsoever, and now this is going to sound strange to you, talk to them. Just talk. Whenever you have a feeling they're out there, go out and just let yourself go. Tell them what you think and what you made a mistake.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't hurt anyone.
I made a mistake when I shot the second one too.
I shot the crown prince of the Bigfoot family. I'm sorry.
I don't even own a weapon.
It's an accident. I'm a Texan.
After this happened, I quit
hunting. Did he ever ask how many toes they had? The Robert dude asked that when I listened to. How many toes they have?
I have
it's a different family.
Chris in Medford, Oregon asks, I was wondering how heavy these creatures were, and he thinks you can judge this because you all had to lift them to bury them. Right?
Yeah. Fair.
I'm going to say they probably weighed 350 pounds plus in that area.
Oh my!
We're all power lifters, though.
That's a lot of body mass.
Oh, tell me about it.
7 foot, 8 foot tall, 350.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Somebody else says, and maybe this isn't true, or maybe it certainly is. The only thing missing is the grief that he hides. Betty has nightmares of killing the female.
Right? Shit.
Yeah, I did for a long time, Art.
Damn.
Did for a long time. I have woke up at night.
Damn, I murdered some people.
Yeah.
Firing my weapon.
I almost feel bad about it.
I mean, I went through some hairy things in Vietnam. I was with the 1st Marine Recon in Vietnam.
Come on.
I was a Marine Scout sniper in Vietnam.
No, dude, Marine Recon, that's like the
about.
friggin' SEALs, man. Frick off. This guy.
I know. That's why that's where
Come
he got
on.
his nickname Bug.
Come on, dude. I mean, could it have been he was a Marine Force Recon guy? Sure. The chances of that,
Or
you know what I
Slim
mean?
and yeah, Slim just left town. Yeah.
That don't bother me. This thing with her bothers me worst of all of them because that's the closest I've ever come to death.
I mean, I killed a lot of villages in Vietnam. I don't have nightmares about that. Women and children that I murdered. But this Bigfoot lady, I can't sleep at night.
That's the thing that's weird. Like he said, that's the closest I've ever been to death. He was never attacked.
I know.
He's never like attacked. He felt like it was uncomfortable.
He could have backed
You're not gonna
out.
tell me like stumbling across like something weird you don't know what it is scarier than walking through the jungles of freaking Vietnam when you're like watching for landmines and booby traps and what are those tiger traps and snipers and shit.
We could have gotten the truck and left, but I decided to keep going and shoot him in the chest 3 times.
We're gonna get that monster.
You described the fact that the imprint of the feet seemed like a human footprint.
You're gonna get into
was it bigger than a usual human footprint?
Good question.
By the weight, I would think it would be.
Oh yes, I would say. Isn't it Michael Jordan that has to have size 18 shoes, or what basketball player? I would say it's probably in that size. There is one thing that I've never revealed to anybody about the foot of this animal.
What?
And that's why I'm very reluctant. A lot of these people talk about Bigfoot and stuff, but there is something about their feet that is different than anybody else. Robert should know
big.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, let's not have Robert say. You say.
Yeah.
What?
6 toes.
Oh.
What?
6 toes.
Robert was surprised at that. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah. 6
toes.
On both of the creatures, both feet?
Both of the creatures.
That's an anomaly. I think it's an anomaly. I'm going to take a wild.
That's bullshit. Robert said it's bullshit.
Horseshit. That's abnormal. Bigfoots have 8 toes. Everybody
All the
knows
Bigfoots I've met and sat down with when they take off their Bigfoot feet, they've got
Listen,
5 toes.
The Bigfoot skeletons I saw at the travel center, they have 8 toes. I'm not believing this horseshit.
Guess here. You must be within 100 miles of the Arkansas border.
No.
And the reason I say, well, in that case, there was a family in Arkansas of Bigfoot that did have a 6-toed genetic code.
Okay.
And they may have spread into.
Hold on. If this guy's got Bigfoot's genetic code shit, why is he running their DNA through stuff and doing all that stuff?
Bro. He's like when you drive up like Route 66, you know what I mean?
No, I know.
They have all the kitschy, yeah. Come see dinosaur, fingerprint, whatever. He's like, oh man, I went to a Bigfoot exhibit and I saw their skeletons. They got 8 toes and 9 legs. It's crazy. It's crazy. I felt their fur. I felt Bigfoot fur. It's wild.
It's just like rabbit fur for some reason.
It's wild. It's $700. You can get a little piece of it. Wear it as a necklace. Get the frick out of here, jackass. He's like, that's abnormal. There's a variant of Bigfoot.
There's a family that lives there in Arkansas.
He's talking about variants. There's a variant of Bigfoot in Arkansas that have 6 toes on their genetic traits. We know this because of 23andMe. Get the frick out of here.
Part of the Walmart family in Arkansas.
Yeah, get the what? Hold on real quick. What if like the whole like the stories of like all the corrupt, politicians in Arkansas that are nameless. What if that whole story ties to like the Bigfoot story somehow?
Maybe they're on the payroll. That's what I'm
saying.
Yeah.
They found out like an unnamed person that may be named Bill hit a Bigfoot accidentally with his car, and they're paying hush money to the Bigfoot, whatever. You know what I mean?
The six-toed family.
Yeah, the six-toed family.
Good Lord.
And anybody that finds out, they gotta ice them.
Yeah.
They can't. Secret.
To eastern Texas. That is possible, but that is not the norm.
All right.
Okay, I am in the Texas Panhandle.
Okay.
And
Amarillo-ish.
Like I say, this creek.
Don't say anymore. Bugs, don't say anymore.
Yeah, don't say anymore.
Texas Panhandle, it's close enough.
And everything, Red River runs from Arkansas up to Texas. It's the border of Texas, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that these animals come from that direction.
I guess they have a lot of trees up there, huh?
Bugs, you said that in the light, the eyes were red. What about
spotlights? Yes.
Yeah. What about when they were dead? Did you get to see
black?
Black eyes.
I couldn't see any pupils or anything like that, and just black eyes.
Weird.
A little larger than human eyes.
Okay.
Bugs, I'm very
okay.
I'm not a hunter myself. I used to hunt years and years ago, but I came through the same transition that you did. I don't want to see anything die anymore. I have no time for it. But at the same time, I must say, honestly, I'm so pleased that you contacted Art Bell.
Bugs, if you said you had a computer there.
Yes.
Go right now to your, or is it really?
I have your website up.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Under What's New, you'll see the first item now, instead of Cloud Vortex, is Bigfoot images. Click on that.
No, I've got, let me refresh.
Refresh. And then go to What's New.
Servers crashing back in whenever this
Dude.
was.
See them?
Everybody on this planet that listens to Coast to Coast is like,
my listener is doing me a favor and getting these images.
Dialing up in AOL.
Yeah. Burning up those AOL minutes. Flipping new discs in.
Looks like at least one is a photograph.
If you're old, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This first one coming up, the hair is the wrong color.
Okay. But what about the general?
Oh, I'm going to look up and see if he still's got them on their page.
Was it closer to a human than that?
Oh yeah, this looks like an ape here.
Yeah.
This first picture. Of course, like I say, it's loading up slow. All I see now is the eyes, but the eyes were sunken in. But the above the eyes, I guess you call it eyebrow area, it was flatter than that.
Okay.
The nose was totally different. The nose was more human. The mouth is very, very similar.
Okay, what about you, Robert? Do you have internet access where you are?
No, I'm on the line that I usually use. But
this aired in 2001.
A copy of the drawing down to you, Art, and you can forward it. But
I can do that. Just give it a few minutes, Bugs, and the rest of these will load.
Okay, your third picture, Lart, looks just about like it.
Oh, really? The third one down?
Yeah.
All right.
Very, very close.
This appears to be an actual photograph. To be honest with you, it's a photograph, and it may be a photograph taken from the Patterson film. I'm not sure.
The third one doesn't look like that. Second one. I mean, it's almost a dead ringer.
Oh, you're saying?
The third one. The fourth picture does not look like it, but the third picture is almost a dead ringer.
Number 3 is an oval.
Yeah.
And you say that's almost a dead ringer for it?
Yeah, almost identical.
Boy, I wish you had internet access, Robert.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm talking on the line.
I'll tell you what, Robert. Mm-hmm. Why don't I do this? Why don't I, if I were to drop you off the line for a few minutes?
Okay.
Could you get to my internet site?
I can certainly try.
Okay. Remember now, you'll be able to get on, no problem. www.artbell.com.
Right.
It'll be under What's New, which is the first item on the left when you load the website. It'll say, you see here, it will say Bigfoot images.
Is that the one he says? The one you sent me is the one he says it looks like him?
That's on the show page. Okay. I found like their data source for pictures of Bigfoot I'm about to send to you. Yeah. But it doesn't go back to 01. It stops in 03.
8 minutes.
Okay, I'll get on it right now.
All right. Let me see if I can do this properly.
This is why I love Coast to Coast. It's just wild. It's just insane.
And
yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
I think this guy shot 2 people. I think he shot 2 people.
100%. I think.
Yeah, I think he shot 2 people, man.
All right, Bug. So number 3 is pretty close, huh? That's
very, very close, Art. The only thing about number 3 that
It doesn't look human enough.
What my recollection is the eyebrow area was a little less protruding.
otherwise the head.
The head,
the mouth
is identical. The nose is identical.
Wow. And
what picture is this? A actual picture?
I believe, and I'm not certain, but I believe, and now Robert will be able to tell us. He's the expert on this, but I think this might be from the Patterson film. I'm not sure.
Okay.
All right. This was sent in just by a listener. But it doesn't matter. Obviously, I would say it's a real photograph that we're looking at. And
you know, as they do this, they're talking about this. You couldn't do this today because people will be doing all sorts of AI pictures with all sorts of different prompts or whatever.
Chat GPT Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's him. That's the one.
They would literally play this episode and then create it off this episode. You know what I mean?
Was there any, other than the sex organs, was there any discernible difference between the male and the female?
That was it, Art. The male was a little taller, like I say, probably 6-8 inches taller, and probably weighed, I'd say 30, maybe 30 pounds more, maybe 40 something in that neighborhood. They were both extremely muscular. They didn't appear to have any what I would call human type fat on them in their abdomen area, the mid-age bulge, or whatever you want to call it. They appeared to be just very, very muscular type people. I wanted to say people, but animals. I still feel like
so what's the male? Was he circumcised or uncircumcised?
People are.
Really?
Yep.
You in sending me the map, Bugs, you said that you're not going to be around forever. Well, I'm not going to be around forever either. And I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what's right to do with it. I don't know if it would.
You go to Texas, you dig that shit up.
Hell yeah.
Even today, I'm not sure. Maybe.
Well, if you feel.
You did Google missing hippies from Amarillo, Texas in 1974.
Bro.
She has the original and everything what we faxed to you.
And what did you tell her about this? When you gave her her copy of the map, what did you tell her?
She was in shock and awe when I first revealed this because she knew nothing about it, and we'd been married for years. She knew nothing about it until the night I talked to you on the radio.
Oh.
Honey, we've been married for 30 years. Let me tell you, I might have murdered some people back in the day.
Wanted to go see
Here's a map to where I buried them.
I swear they're Bigfoots.
Go back to where that area is.
They were smaller Bigfoots, but they were Bigfoots. Trust me, they're on the small side.
I know they're Bigfoots because they had 6 toes.
The creature's blood on your clothing, shoes, whatever?
Not that I'm aware of, Art.
Because blood, too, has DNA in it.
I know. It's possible in moving them and everything that we did, but it wasn't something we noticed.
We burned all those clothes.
Hell yeah.
My wife wouldn't have said anything because, you know, we handled coyotes and bobcats and stuff like that. We got blood on.
Okay, Mike.
On them out.
Yeah, I hear you. Mike in San Angelo, Texas, down there in Texas, with you asks, the hands, the feet. Would you describe them as leathery? Were the nails thick? Were the ears big? Was anything weird about the teeth? Did you think you were looking at a meat eater or a vegetarian? Any guesses?
I would say just offhand, probably a vegetarian. But then again, Art, I don't know. You know, we're talking about a total time of me looking at these animals and burying them.
About how long?
Time, an hour and a half, 2 hours.
As you guys tried to figure out.
Lie.
Oh yeah.
Bullshit.
Well, we knew what to do. We went and got the shovels and started digging.
Yeah.
Because they had to go get shovels.
What about the hands and feet? He's asking, were they leathery feeling? Can you remember any texture? Can you remember anything about it?
All right, I can't remember other than their hands. I don't know how to describe them. It would be like somebody that had a pair of cowhide gloves on.
That would be leathery.
With hair around them, and in their palm area,
right?
Just skin type showing, kind of I guess you would say a leathery type hands, and their feet, bottom of their feet were the same way. The only thing, like I say, the hands and the bottom of their feet were probably the only thing it wasn't covered with hair. And their face didn't. It wasn't completely covered with hair, but
pretty close to how much hair there was there in number 3.
Yeah, very similar. Very similar.
Since that's happened, since you've been on my show, the original time you appeared on my program, have you told anybody else about this?
Yeah, there's one other person in this world knows about it because he had an encounter here a while back with one.
Ooh, I don't remember this.
He decided he was going to follow his uncle and be a great white hunter. Till one night he come across one about, I guess it's been a month and a half, 2 months ago, about, I'd say 40 miles from where this happened. And he come home telling me about it. About 3 days later, he was scared. And then I told him. Mm-hmm. And he said, that's exactly what I saw. And I said, well, why didn't you shoot it? He said, man, I didn't know what it was. I said, I got the hell out of there, pardon my French.
Yeah, I imagine when you
so
back on your
he feels regret for shooting these 2 animals that he didn't know if it was or wasn't a human. Someone else that he knows
nephew
has the same experience, and he's like, you should have shot him. That makes no sense at all.
None of it makes sense. I mean,
that's true.
He murdered some people. His nephew almost murdered some people because he got. I mean, here's okay. My overall there's 2 minutes left. I'll go over my whole theory on this.
Let's wrap up.
Let's wrap it up. Done that too, but by the time you'd shot the thing initially, so many shots, I guess you pursue it. You don't leave an animal out to die.
No, you're right. If it's wounded, you want to put it out of its misery. And again, we thought it was a bear. Just to be perfectly honest with you, I mean.
Yeah, even up until the moment that you shot the final creature dead, you still really thought it was a bear, didn't you?
Oh yeah, and I thought it was a wounded bear in the bushes, and that's what we was laughing about. Who's going into the thickets to get the bear?
How'd you get elected?
I was the only one. I had the most hot.
Who's going to the bushes to get the purse? I mean, the bear.
Bird Dog, he had a 357, and Jim, he had a 22, and I had a 44 Magnum Ruger. And so they said, "Well, you got the big gun. You go in." Mm-hmm. I said, "Well, I'll loan it to y'all."
By the way, I can hear something creaking, and I imagine that's your easy chair you're rocking back in, if I had to guess.
Right, it is.
If you want to listen to our show ad-free, 24.
Okay, so
what a journey!
I'm going to stop sharing this here. So here's my overall theory. Bird Dog, Bug, and Jimbo or whatever are out poaching at 3:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Somebody confronts them and is like, hey, dude, what are you doing? Blast them. So I started shooting. And they more or less killed some people. And that's
Sir, this is a protected nature reserve. You can't be out here poaching and drunk at night. Boo! You know what I mean?
But somehow he's got to absolve himself of the sins of murdering these people.
So he confesses. He makes a deathbed confession.
This is kind of his deathbed confession. Because they're humanoids. They could have human rights.
Under statute number 76C.
That or there's some hippies in the woods or something. Like I saw some movement, so I started shooting.
Do I think he shot something? Yes. I think he probably did. Do I think he shot a human or a Sasquatch?
The odds, if you weigh those two out, the odds of being a human are a hell of a lot greater than the odds of being a Sasquatch.
It is.
So that whole thing is so questionable.
Definitely concerning, especially at the very end. I'd forgotten that he mentioned someone else had the same experience, and he asks them why they didn't just shoot him. And I'm like, you just have called in twice now, allegedly.
I slept so well for the last 30 years after I did that. Why didn't you do it?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know. But there's on the whole Bigfoot thing, there are a ton of other why have none been hit by a car?
Yeah.
Why haven't any just like been found in the woods, dead, like of whatever causes?
There's tons of trail cameras everywhere now.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they can sense it through their psychic power and just stay away from trail cameras.
Well,
Frick off, you know.
And so I'm watching a thing with I was watching a thing Les Strand, who does the Survivor Man stuff.
Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah, he's like Bear Grylls.
Yeah, and he's going through and he's doing some stuff to where he goes out and he looks for Bigfoot and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, if you go out and you set up trail cameras, like they know and they'll stay away from cameras because it's technology or whatever. But also I didn't know they talked about in there bears love the taste or smell of lithium batteries.
Really?
And so they will tear apart trail cameras trying to get the batteries out of them, the rechargeable lithium batteries.
Weird. Yeah. Maybe they can sense it then, because we can't smell lithium, you know?
Yeah, but
fair.
On the same thing, like the one guy he's with, he's like the guy will go out and he'll like stack like rocks in certain orders and go back. He's like in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and he'll go back and find them restacked in different orders. And he's like, it's Bigfoot doing it, or some other kids in the woods messing with you,
or it's the camera crew.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I want to believe, I want there to be something like that out there, but the odds of it are so low.
I think there's a higher chance of spiritual things existing than Bigfoot.
Like skinwalkers?
No, like ghosts and spirits, like we talked about a couple episodes ago.
Well, what do you think about like the Skinwalker thing, Skinwalker Ranch stuff?
Nah, no.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah.
I would say, in order of precedence, supernatural entities could be real because most cultures believe in the spirit world, right?
Yeah,
could be real. Cryptids, it's just stories, man. It's a legend.
Yeah, well, I think it's that, and it's
or it could be a leftover dinosaur. I don't know.
Well, I think it's confusion between species, also.
Yeah.
The same way that they saw manatees and thought they were mermaids back in the day.
Yeah.
Right.
They sure embellished them with how they described them. Good grief!
They were thick girls back then.
Yeah, if real mermaids exist, I'd be looking all over the place for them.
Yeah, the same thing with the Jersey Devil and all that stuff. I mean, there was what was I watching? Was it Y-Files or whatever?
Yeah. I think it was Y-Files. Yeah.
And like they go back and the footprints were that of a deer or something that they found.
Yeah, it was like a tiny deer host.
Yeah, they were nowhere near the size that they originally reported. But a lot of that is the mass psychosis thing too. So like when one person sees it, all of a sudden everybody sees it and whatever. They're
like the Mandela effect, kind of.
Yeah. They all see the same thing, or they report it. And, so I think the same way. But also at that same thing, like when I hiked down, we talked about this a little bit. I don't know if it was the last time we talked, but when I hiked down and did the Walls of Jericho trail.
Oh yeah.
That campsite at the end it's in a box canyon. So more or less the walls on both sides are too vertical to like climb out. And on the other end is more or less a waterfall of water coming in. There's a stream running down the side that forms this whole canyon over time, right? And like I could hear things in there like making knocking sounds all night. I'm like, what the hell is that? No idea. I'm not going to go investigate it.
I don't know.
And it's not like, I mean, I don't know if you know what a pileated woodpecker is, but they're huge woodpeckers and they sound like machine guns when they fire. But this wasn't when they fire, but when they peck into the trees. But this wasn't that. This was, just solid knocking.
Could be a beaver. Chipping away trees.
There was no water running. It was dry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, there's some pools of water with there, but there wasn't like beaver area. So I have no idea what it was, but
it's Bigfoot.
Could hear it all night. And like you watch those
Bigfoot.
Those squatching things, they'd be hitting trees with logs and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what it sounded like. And there could have been other people out there. I mean, I didn't see other campers, so I don't know.
The Bigfoot thing, I do not buy in like at all. I watched there's a guy that does a show on YouTube called News Channel 5, and he like just goes in you may have seen him. You probably see, if you saw him, you'd recognize him. He's got curly red hair.
Yeah.
And he walks into like just chaos, right? And he just interviews people, right? He says, hey, what's up? Tell me about Bigfoot. And he meets a guy. He's like, yeah, He's like, I got a portal that have Bigfoots come in through the portal behind my house. And he's like, what? He's like, I'm going to come to your house.
Art Bell talk to this guy?
No, dude. And he's like, there's a female Bigfoot, and she's like my mate. And she's always here with me. My partner doesn't like her. And he's like, and so he goes and visits, and he's like, oh, you just missed her. She was here. She got scared when you came by. She ran away, but she sensed your presence, and she says that you're okay. I'm like, what the frick are you talking to this guy, man? Like, get out of here, dude. He thinks I don't know. These people crazy, man.
But the
Like,
world's full of
as hell.
crazy people. And like
True.
anybody can have a YouTube channel doing whatever that they see out there and all that stuff. So, like I said, I want to believe, but I mean, I've seen more snakes than Bigfoots out in the woods.
The concept of cryptids is cool. Do I think some cryptids exist? Maybe. Like there's stories about I think he talked about in White Files, maybe. It's like I'm gonna kill the name, but it's like Mbembe or something in like deep Africa in like the jungles. It's like a dinosaur or some shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I think there's a lot of stuff in the interior of Africa that we would
or like
not
deep
even know.
sea. There could be some ancient creatures we don't even know about. I would say that's fair, right?
Yeah.
In modern civilized society, human-like sentient being known as Bigfoot.
Yeah, I would say that with the amount of land that, I mean,
escape the orangutan, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't even think you'd find that. I think it would die. I don't think it would have the means to survive that long. But yeah, and there's things like, the human mind will see things in nature that they see a face and things like that. There's a whole thing.
There's a term for that where you piece together like something out of nothing.
Yeah, it's like the same way you see things in clouds and stuff. You look at
True.
it long enough.
100%.
So I mean, I think that's out there as well. But yeah, I want to, but I don't want to. You know what I mean? I would love to go out there in the woods and find one. But also, if you have that experience, you become that crazy dude. So what if you did? What if you were out there and you see the skunk ape in Florida and you full on see it? It's there, crosses your path on the trail.
With my eyes.
Yeah. Now you're the kooky guy. You're like, I saw one. I saw it in the trail. And it was like,
real.
Okay, Matt, whatever.
He wanted my trail mix, so I gave him a Snickers bar. Okay, all right. Okay.
It could be real. Then you'd be like the crazy guy.
Could be. Yeah, but like I think there's a difference between like talking to someone that's, together and is like we had our spooky stories, right?
Yeah.
I think we're mentally together, right? And we're talking about these strange things that happen.
It's not explainable. Yeah.
I can't explain it. It's weird, but it happened, right? I'm not like, yeah, that's the genetic traits of a southern Arkansas Sasquatch. That's a genetic line. You know what I mean? It's different.
How many toes does that thing have?
It's just different, right? It's not. I don't think they're the same. Like you got to be a special kind of crazy talking about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Instead of someone that's like together, rational, reality based, saying, yeah, weird stuff happens. I've had weird stuff happen. This what happened. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, I've seen things in the sky I can't explain. But I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, I can't explain it. It doesn't mean what it is.
It's weird. What a great episode, though. My God.
There's some others. We got to find some other classic Art Bells to go over.
I think, and this is just like kicking it out there. We should do an Art Bell episode every once in a while.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
100%. Art Bell.
It's a goal. I mean, there's a ton of things to go listen to on there.
Everything between cryptids, psychics.
I want to find that one from that assassin dude.
We need to find the assassin, and there's another great one about a psychic that can she was hired by the CIA, and she can read rooms underneath hundreds
remote viewing.
Yeah, that's it. Remote viewing. Yes.
Yeah. But so we'll wrap this one up. So yeah, it was a good time. Art Bell never leaves you wanting, most definitely. I'm pretty convinced that he murdered 2 people.
Yes.
I think we'll ever know once we get the map from Art Bell. But that's a wrap. I was surprised that there were no commercials in that whole video.
Yeah, that was awesome. Great. That was perfect.
So cool. Well, I will wrap this up and button it up, and we'll get it posted. Thanks.
Awesome.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
See ya.